making this video to hopefully avoid any misconceptions that may be derived from my videos. First of all, I am not a thief. I do not steal and I do not engage in breaking and entering. Also, I must stress that my intention is not to inspire others to reenact what I do. What you see me doing is a practice. I am practicing stealth. The same as practicing any other skill. If you're trying to develop a skill, like for example basketball, you will never truly get good at basketball if all you do when you practice is perform drills and exercises. To truly get good at the sport, you have to actually play the game. There has to be an interaction with an element that is out of your control, such as other players. You can shoot three-pointers all day long by yourself in an empty gym, but how good are you really when there's another player in your face? This is the exact same concept I'm using when practicing stealth. I can spend time practicing movements and conditioning my body to handle the demands of that type of environment, but until I am actually in that environment with real consequences, I will be lacking. The more I expose myself to such an environment in which I have to think in terms of stealth and move quietly, the better I will become. There are two ways that I go about this: to get on or inside an area without being seen, and then off or out without being seen, or to get as close as I can to people from various angles without them being aware of my presence. Practicing stealth is more than just the physical aspect of sneaking around in the dark. There's a whole process that I go through to execute a proper mission, as corny as that sounds, and that process doesn't always make it into the video. First, I scout for a target. Basically, I just explore an area until I find a feasible challenge. A challenge is any given area that is technically off limits to the general public, but somewhere that I won't get into too much trouble should I get caught. Rooftops are a perfect example of this. They are often off limits and provide a great vantage point for observation. After I decide on a target, the next is the recon phase. I might visit a location 3 to 5 times before I commit to the attempt. This allows me to get a better feel for the area, and by that I mean what kind of traffic is around and at what times. Vehicles, yes, but also foot traffic, such as workers on site or just random people passing through. If I can, I try to do a walkthrough to look for cameras, also to get a better perspective on what I'm dealing with. Once I've figured out a time, I determine if I need to bring any auxiliaries, gloves for climbing or to withstand freezing temperatures, possibly a grappling hook, or something a little more crude for that ladder that's just out of reach. Durable shoes for dense terrain, or athletic shoes for an environment that demands a more agile approach. All of this is taken into account. At this point, I have a plan, and so I make the attempt. If I am successful in entering an area, I simply explore it. I might try to spot some unsuspecting people along the way as well. I collect my footage and leave, preferably the same way I came, or I improvise a different route. Once I've made it away from the area without being caught, it's mission complete. That's it. No stealing, no vandalizing, stealth, pure and simple. So what is actually happening here when I go through all of this? I am developing intuition. I am strengthening my instincts and mental prowess towards being invisible. Through this, I will increase my skill in stealth. I am very aware of the risks involved. The risk of getting caught or the risk of falling from a decent height, but it wouldn't be a challenge without a risk. The risk factor is what keeps you sharp and focused.